Yeah.
um, how you been?
I've been doing great. I like No Time No Coach because I actually stopped playing Overwatch after like around Life Weaver times.
Yeah.
But recently got back into it. So
Mm, mm,
yeah,
mm. Okay. Well,
and yeah,
how's everything been? I mean, it's been like, I mean, it feels like what, 4 years?
yeah,
It's like
probably
like
yeah.
or longer.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I think a little bit. I think 2019 was the last time.
Yeah. Wait, let me look at our DM's history here. Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, you're right. It's like 4.5 years.
Yeah.
What the heck, man? Wait, wait. Hey there. Are you available for a coaching review on your VOD? Wait.
Uh,
Yo, this was almost 6 years ago when I first coached you.
yeah.
Can you believe
Yeah.
that? You must have been
That's
like one
when
of my
I like
first
first started. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That must have been like one of my first like 20 or 30 sessions ever. Like way back in the day.
Yeah, like
Um
actually, yeah, I went from like bronze to like gold just from the first to coach. Like it was there I understood that you were the coach, right?
that's funny. That's a long time ago. Well, wow. Well, okay. Anyway, what are we looking at today? How you been? First off, how's life treating you?
It's quite fine. Yeah, I'm finishing up my masters
Mm.
in chemistry, so
Mm.
I'm a bit busy, so I don't play as often as I would like, but it's still like my only game, so I can give it all my free time.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope the studying's going well. Uh let's see. Look here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Support DPS thing. So you're playing a little bit of everything. What are we looking at today,
Yeah.
gameplay wise?
Oh, only Echo.
Only Echo. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. No more Sombra. What do you think of the
Uh,
rework, by the way, of Sombra?
okay, so I think it's better. Like the damage is much better. Like I can actually get kills now, but they need to fix the translocator size at least because
Yeah.
I can't count. I cannot count the times I got stuck in geometry in map
Oh,
geometry.
extremely frustrating. Yeah, extremely
Yeah.
frustrating. Extremely frustrating.
I guess
Okay.
I could also make it like faster so you get further away, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. um, would you go up to the session? I'm looking up my game, figuring out how to adjust my playstyle on the fly, picking on my team and enemy's lineup, checking out awkward Smido, need some deeper insights. Off angles, doing damage like a pro. Mental holds me back sometimes. How long you play? Around is that 20 hours per week? Is that pretty consistent?
Yeah, it was before the holidays, but
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
okay, yeah, it's usually pretty consistent.
Yeah, outside of holidays. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Okay, and that's just is that ranked mostly?
Yeah, only.
Only
I
ranked. Okay.
I basically never play other modes.
Okay, makes sense. Short term goal: hitting masters. Personal challenge, a little confidence boost. Um, Start a small YouTube channel, Overwatch to share gameplay in my free time. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would
That'd be
like
cool.
to, but I think that at least I need to have a decent understanding of the game before doing that because like, what's the
Well,
point?
what do you mean? Like would this be like an educational channel or what?
I guess so. I'm not like planning on doing any like full coaching stuff, but
Yeah.
I would like to be able to get viewers that and say, oh, I could do that, I could do that, but I
Right.
just for fun, just for fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think you'd have to necessarily wait to do that. If you think that you could even do like I remember I did some self review back when I was even like diamond and stuff, and like posted that video. I mean, that might be fun. I don't know. Like all I'm saying is like if that sounds like something you'd have fun doing, you don't necessarily have to wait to a perfect rank to be able to do that. You could
Yeah,
start really whenever you
I know
want.
that, but I think that I would like also to be taken a bit more seriously by
True. Okay.
the online community. So that's the point. I
Okay.
don't think you
Sure.
can take someone seriously if they're plat or something. You know.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I'm really slow to adapt to different situations. I think I know how to play some specific situations, but as soon as something goes awry, I have a hard time understanding what to do in the fly. So I default to a basic playstyle. My mental could definitely need some work. I tend to lose confidence if progress is too slow or feels like it. Sometimes I wish I could see differences from one game to the next instead of after hundreds of games. I'm not too worried about mechanics, even though I'd get stuck on map geometry a bit more than I'd like during flight with Echo. Um, okay, so I mean, the mental thing is tough, you know, because it's like, I mean, you obviously like you're obviously a very successful student, and so you know how how learning works, right?
Yeah.
um, so it's like one of those things where it's like you know it's illogical, but it's still frustrating. Like you know, it's like I'm not going to be able to see improvements from game to game, really, and if I do, it's just luck, right?
Yeah.
But it still doesn't mean make it any less fun. So
Like I guess the point is like I'm been stuck in low diamond forever. Like since the last time I got coached from you, it was like what 2 years, and I never
I don't
got
even
into
remember
it.
when I coached you last. Was it when was it? Looking through it.
Yeah, it was like when the last few times you had free coaching, basically.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that must have been like 2019 or 2020.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so.
I guess it was longer than I thought.
Yeah, yeah, but
So
yeah,
I've been
yeah.
stuck
Okay,
there for even longer then. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Makes
And
sense.
so I guess the point is um, from when I'm playing, I know sometimes okay, I died here because of that, I died because of that, and I try to fix that, but I don't know. I'm probably fixing the wrong way. Some because I'm still there, still halfway through diamond. So I must be doing something wrong. I'm
Yeah, I
not
mean,
learning.
could be. I mean, could be because you are putting a decent amount of hours into the game
Yeah.
and have been for some time. Um, so at that point, it's always like, okay, so something's going wrong during those hours, right? Like I'm not approaching things
Not
the
being
right
efficient.
way, right? I'm not being efficient, or I'm not approaching things the right way. It might not even be a question of efficiency. It really might truly be that you're making no progress at all. You're not every like you finished a 3 hour session and all you've really done is like kind of grind away mechanics a little bit, and maybe not even much of that. So, I guess first things first is that like are you said Echo is like the priority, but is it really just Echo right now?
Mostly yes, because I was playing Sombra and Soldier, but I still feel that Sombra is kind of too hard to get value out of from these ranks because like it still needs a bit of coordination for dives and stuff,
Yeah,
and I just feel like also my mechanics most of the time I don't know. I don't enjoy playing Sombra for very long streaks of time. It
yeah,
just gets frustrating at some point. So I
makes
just
sense.
swap, and I found that Echo. I never played Echo before because, funnily enough, I didn't know there was a setting that you could like inner flight.
Hold the flight. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But the point is, the funny thing is, I must have swapped it on, like hold to flight, and I
yeah,
forgot about it. And I found that since the Echo came out, basically, and I found that it was so hard for me to play Echo because I couldn't coordinate my finger and my all the buttons. So I just started like a few months ago, and I found that this option was a thing, and I swapped it back off, and it's much better for me to play Echo like without hold to flight.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know it's recommended to keep hold to flight, but I just can't do it.
I don't think it's
Because
necessarily a must setting either. I think it's one of those things that I've heard, you know, a little bit of both ways, you know. So
yeah,
okay, makes
so
sense.
it's basically a character that I always liked by the design and how he played, but I never got to play it because it was too difficult. Like
Interesting,
but
interesting.
that was it.
Okay, well there you go. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so we need to kind of evaluate what's wrong with your playtime now. So you said really just mostly Echo right now, but that's just for DPS. How much support and how much tank do you play?
Uh, Last season I basically didn't play. I just his placement
Okay.
in both tanks and support.
Okay.
But
Okay. That's good.
yeah, yeah.
Because that's the first low hanging fruit when it comes to like, why are we playing so many hours and not getting better? So it's basically you are at a point now where you might be playing 15, 16 hours of Echo a week.
Okay, I can tell you my career profile. So last season, yeah, it was. I actually didn't play that much, but it was like 22 hours on competitive last season 7. It's because probably um yeah, just 22 hours. But I
Okay.
actually play a little bit more than that. So I don't know, maybe I was playing for the Battle Pass or arcade
Sure.
a little bit, but basically only Echo. I only have Echo and Ilari, but
Yeah.
because it was new, I just unlocked her, so I wanted to try her, but still only Echo.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Um. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's like I said, as long as we got that box checked, and then I guess maybe if you're able to spend this much time, like let's forget about like what's gone wrong in the past. You need to go in. You need to grind 1 or 2 hours of echo per day around there. Um. Do you warm up at all? That's not necessarily going to
Um,
be
I I
the game
I
changer,
used
but
to. I
okay.
used to warm up in deathmatch, but I actually found that the first few games I play, each time I turn on the game, if I play straight up in comp, I usually, I don't know, I most often win in the first few games. I play better without warming up, and then
Okay.
it gets worse. Like after if the few first games, maybe I tilt a bit, or I don't know. It gets harder, but
Okay.
I don't usually warm up anymore.
Okay, okay, that's fair. I would say most people would benefit like from 5 minutes of warming up at least, just to kind of wake yourself up mechanically. But if you truly feel like I can go in and I play fine, then it's probably fine. Now you said something interesting there though, where it's like I do okay in the first couple of games, and then things kind of start to take a tilt downwards. Now that happens, right? That happens. But why do you think that is? Is that something that's consistently happened with you?
Yeah, yeah, but uh, it's not like I get tilted because of teammates or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I just play worse. I don't know. It's like a reverse warm up, you know.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
If I'm fresh, I can play better. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody can, right? The challenge for you is like keeping yourself fresh or giving yourself as much energy to go into a session, right?
Hmm.
Um, so do you take breaks?
I do. I do.
Okay. When do you take
Uh,
breaks and how long are those breaks?
Uh, Usually it's I play to get my rank update. In if I get 5 wins within like 10 games or so, and then I stop, and then I go back like 1 or 2 hours later.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Here's what I would recommend. Um, Especially if you find yourself running out of gas a little bit. I would recommend taking a break, a couple minute break after every game.
Uh huh.
After every game. Like you finish a game, you get up, you physically get up from your computer for a couple of minutes, walk away, then come back afterwards. Uh, and you might be like, well, I'm not tilted or I'm not tired or I'm fine. Yeah, but keep it that way. Keep it that way.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I
Sounds
find
good.
I figured this out when I was grinding ranked a while ago. I think it was Lifeweaver or something like that. And I was like, I just felt like I had more games in a row where I was able to play with full focus if I took like a 1 or 2 minute break after every single game. And then if I got really tilted or frustrated, then I'd obviously take an actual like 15-minute break or whatever. But I just took like these it's like well, I'm not tired. I don't need to take a rest. Well, take a rest now so that you don't get tired. It's kind of the way to look at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
I would try that. That might be the most important thing that we've talked about in the last 10 minutes. I would give that a shot.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Sure.
Um, and also, I think for you, it's like especially with like how much you're studying and on all that as well. I do think your sleep could be a little bit better too. I guess piggybacking off of that,
Yeah.
like 7 hours
Yeah.
isn't bad, but if that like
It's
that,
really there though.
that's 100% going to have some correlation with
Yeah.
your ability to keep going. Because like if that's a consistent problem with you, is it's like, hey, I lose momentum really fast in my play times, then maybe that's something we need to keep in mind. And to be honest with you, also, when we talk about like when do I take like actually take a long break and then come back, be very careful about playing for that card. I think instead of trying to play for like a certain number of wins, just play for a certain number of games or practice being self-aware of when I feel like I'm losing confidence, losing energy, and then take a break there. Even if that's after like 4 or 5 games, I'm gonna take a longer break. That's fine. do it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the rank rework that's going to come soon is gonna help with that because you don't have cards anymore, right?
that is true. That is true. That is true. Um, okay, let's keep going here. Um, so I definitely think taking more breaks, shorter breaks, uh, checking on your sleep, um, and then obviously just having stuff to work on in game is really important, just to keep yourself focused
Yeah.
on what something productive. Okay. Okay. I don't really have any other questions. Do you have any other questions?
Well, for now, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you want to look at some gameplay?
Yep. I have two games. Very recent games. One, I think that I both played like almost optimally to my best,
Okay.
to the best of my abilities.
Excellent.
And one is a win and one is a loss. So I don't know.
Either
I
one.
don't know
Either one.
how. Okay, so
One works.
I guess let me see. I think the more interesting one is going to be where is it? History. He plays Suravasa. Suravasa. Okay, I'm going to copy paste the code.
Sure. Okay, let's take a look here. Some Echo. So I like Echo. I think she's like I always say that she's like the first Overwatch 2 hero because I think that she's got that slick design. She's got like
Yeah,
that
that's why I love her.
yeah, middle of the road, very fluid, can do a little bit of poke, can dive, can do all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah, I think the times it's not going to be this game that much, but the times I struggle the most are against double hit scan. Like
yeah,
because also like half my games I don't have mercy, right? So it gets
yeah,
much harder.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think I have negative win rate if that is possible on Circle Royale. I just cannot play Echo there. I
Well, I
have to
mean,
swap at some point.
yeah, I think that map is actually very difficult for Echo. So let's actually talk about double hit scan here. So like, let's say double hit scan. All right. And let's say the hit scan are maybe here, here, I don't know, right? How do you play versus hit scan as Echo?
Yeah, it depends on what the point of the map, but if I can take angles by being safe and pressure the hit scan, I usually do that. But because my target priority here is always like, where's the hit scan? Where's the hit scan? Where's the hit scan? If I don't find it, I usually default to shoot the tank to form ult charge.
Sure, sure, absolutely. And see, that's the thing. So, like, let's say that you're like in this situation and you're like, the hit scan's over here and the hit scan's over here. And you're like, oh, I want to try and dive the hit scan. Let's say that you couldn't dive the hit scan. Here's something else that Echo could do. Echo can play right here and shoot the tank. If
Yeah.
you were to play like Cassidy or Ashe here on, let's say, your team red, right? And you put your Cassidy or Ashe in this aggressive angle here, it would instantly die to Doomfist or Moira, right?
Yeah.
Instantly, right? But Echo, no. Why? What's the difference between you and a hit scan?
Because Echo like is projectile and
Right.
effective range is like very close or
Yes.
a medium range. So I always try to go for assassinations. Those cases, if I see somebody out of position, I just sneak behind them and sticky shoot and beam. And if I
Yep.
fail, I just glide away.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And that's the thing, right? Like, unless you're playing Sojourn, there aren't many hit scans that take an angle like this and not just die, right? Like, they just die to dive, right? But Echo can take this aggressive position and not just dive backline, but like just shoot tank from these angles that other DPS can't take. Like, that's the key thing, is that you could take so many positions that other DPS cannot take.
Yeah, I think here I go for a outflank because I noticed they have a Yari, and
Yeah.
I also want to break the pylon.
Yep. Seems smart.
And I have a Doomfist, so I could.
Yeah, makes
do
sense.
that.
Good. Gonna say you could even use that like the roof above you, but yeah, I like the flanks here. This is good. Not a whole lot to say here. I mean, your old charge is kind of telling the story here, so good. Okay, we're just gonna kind of zoom through this so there's not a whole lot until the fight actually starts. Now,
I think
this,
I think I heard somebody there because that's why I went there, but it was
yeah,
just me hearing things.
yeah, that's fine, that's fine. At least you're alert.
I'm looking for Sombra, I think here.
I wouldn't bother myself with Sombra,
Yeah,
you know?
I know, but that's because I just hear her hack somebody and thought she was out of stealth. But
Oh, okay. Because I think you misheard. Because she is. Yes, she's not anywhere close. I'm like, hello, what's going on here? Okay, that's fine. It happens. Because that sucks. Like, you have been completely out of this fight. Yeah. And see, by the time that you actually get in, like, even the problem here is also here, like, they're not on double hit scan anymore. You notice this? And they're also playing a hit scan that can't really one shot you anymore. You could just poke these guys out. Like, you could even take an angle here and copy like Bap or Hog or Soldier or Moira or Sombra or whatever.
I think I'm here. I'm in that mode where I want to learn how to play around his scan, and I just constantly go for half flanks on them. So that's my goal in these kind of games. You know?
Right. But you need to think about this situation. Like, look at their composition, right? With, like you said, the EDR and the Bastion, the Soldier. And then look at this situation here. This is night and day.
Yeah.
Right? This is, that EDR is now a Moira. Bastion is now a Sombra. You have ultimate. So you're practicing this circumstance, but the circumstance isn't the circumstance anymore. So why practice it? Right? So what I think you need to practice here is look at the comp. Where do I position?
Yeah, recognize the type of comp.
Right. Practice looking at the comp, what I do. Look at the comp, what I do. And making that read quickly, 5-6 seconds. Do it between fights, obviously, but doing it quickly. Because this is fine-ish. You know, I mean, I respect it. That's good. But that could have gone very poorly for your team, right? Like, that would have sucked to literally just lose that just because of that. But yeah. Okay. Nice. We keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Diana was isolated. That's why I went in, but I immediately saw the hog and.
Yeah, I mean, that's where their spawns are coming from, so you gotta know. See, like, even here, so obviously, you know, they still have Soldier and all that kind of thing, so you gotta be careful. But like, you could do a lot of damage holding an angle here and poking, right? Like you could do a lot of damage. You might at some point look for a dive.
Yeah, but my thought process here is okay. I have ultimate.
Yeah.
And I don't want to charge their support ults.
Sure. Yeah, this is fine. Let's see. It's just mechanics, right? That's fine.
Yeah, I went in because the Doomfist went in, and I thought that somebody could have been below half health.
Sure. You timed it well. Good. I assume that was the fat finger.
It's actually the
new keep.
The new hog is just all my keybinds are different.
Yeah.
I want to hook here, but I
Yeah. I will say, okay, so my nitpick here is this is literally the worst person to copy.
Yeah.
Literally the worst person to copy.
Gone for Ana.
Moira as well would have been much better. Damage orb than fade this direction. I mean, this is actually monstrous from the deal with, but yeah, that's okay. The play itself was fine, but obviously the execution was not so good. The idea of the play was good. And then here, I want you to utilize your shift. So you do a good job like leaning onto high ground here. You see this? Like, you land on high ground. And why is this important? You see what this allows you to do?
Yeah.
Right? It kind of gets on top of her, right? And the reason why that's important is so that when this happens, this is really scary for you, right? Not just sleep dart, not
I
just
have fly.
nade, but also just damage, period, right? And so you have fly now. The problem is you don't use
Too
it.
slow. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm too slow.
you could literally use it, but like even a second ago, like you could fly up and over, beam, 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 beam. Don't fail. That's fine. Go out, get a health pack, right?
Yeah.
So when you do these dive bomb plays, don't you don't okay? Let me show you what I mean. When you go for these dive bomb plays, you don't have to go for the dive bomb and then fly out. You can dive bomb and fly out at the same time. So, I'm blind. Okay, there we go. So if you're on the high ground here, you don't have to go drop, right? Because at that point, it might be too late. Like you gave them chances to at least trade on you. But if you start on high ground here and you already have the opportunity, then you can kind of go for something like this where you drop you stickies and you're already like flying out as you're doing you're doing your beam, if that makes sense. So you kind of do you slow control stickies and then fly out afterwards. And what that does is not only go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I need to practice that more.
Yeah,
Like, I do it sometimes, but it's not consistent.
right. Because what it does is it allows you to keep your verticality over them, right? So it's like it's safer, but also like that initial acceleration from the shift is also going to, it's going to allow you to basically almost like Genji dash, right? Because it's like here and it's like a bam. It's kind of a jerk in the opposite direction, right? Which if she goes to that sleep dart and then you shift up, she's going to miss that sleep dart. So just keep that in mind, because even without the sleep dart here, because obviously it's like, oh, I shouldn't have gotten slept, but where are we at here? Survasa. Is this it, right?
Yeah.
53 minutes ago? Yeah. Because even without that, like this is she could hit a shot and it just becomes really uncomfortable. Okay, let's and that's that. Okay, because the play itself is really good, like, but there's no reason that you should have died here. No reason you should have died here. Okay, nice. There's a mini to your right, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the other. Yeah, this one. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of this one over here. Yeah, I'm thinking of this one.
I'm still getting used to the minis here in this map because I still haven't learned them.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Okay, can bring fights to point. Uh oh. Nice. I don't agree with this here. She's got that heal orb. She is not. She ain't dying, right?
Yeah,
she is not dying.
She wasn't getting healed.
Yeah. That's okay. At least you end on high ground. Good stickies. Shift out. Okay. Let's keep going here. Nice. Got these like little assassinations going like crazy. Good touch just in time. Good copy, good nade. See, that's the difference between like, at least with a copy like Ana, you know you're gonna die instantly anyway. So at least let's get a nade off, right? You know, at least this feels like, hey, I actually did something here, you know? But yeah, okay. Nice, huge play. But you guys should still win this though.
I don't think so, no.
Your team trolled. That was a good play. Okay, let's keep going. We're kind of zooming through here. We might even have time to go over some of that second VOD too, if you want to.
Sure.
I'm not seeing, if I don't see anything super major, then we're going to keep going.
Yeah, by the way, this is plat 3 because I had like a terrible loss streak and went from my peak diamond 2 to plat 2 basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, see, this is where I think, I wouldn't say more than anything else, but it's definitely important. I look at this here. You're approaching silently. She's moving in a straight direction, and you hit 2 of your stickies.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. Now, obviously, it's like, oh, practice makes perfect here. But this is a game even like this is at least in theory. What are your total hours on this character?
I could tell you. Let me see. All modes. Oh, that's here level. Time played. 51 hours.
Okay, that's not that many. This is where I will say, I know you're not much of a deathmatch player, but this is where something like this could help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
and this is also where a little bit of mental practice here could help too, because you're going to get opportunities like these probably a dozen times per game, maybe more, right? Maybe not that many, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities every game where you're just going to have a full sticky. Like it's literally like you're playing versus an NPC, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not sticking the majority of these, you're trolling. It's basically the idea is like, can you hit the headshot as Widowmaker when they don't know that you're there? And if the answer is no, then you're going to have a really hard time with Widowmaker.
Yeah, that's usually
You know,
if I play Widowmaker.
and this is why I don't play Widow, right? But you can't choke these. You just can't. Because I don't think this is necessarily like this is part practice, part mentality. So here's what I would do. I would play if I'm going to play some deathmatch. I'd play it with only Widow. What am I saying? Echo. And I would practice, trying to full land my stickies, get these assassinations to where I'm doing them easily. And then when I'm in game, I would look at situations like these. I'd be like, oh, just by yourself, breathe, and then just trust. Just feel it. Just feel it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to lead her. Don't try to don't just stick her. Just breathe and stick her. And then if you miss and completely, that's fine. It was still good practice. But like I'm telling you, like that right there, that should not have been that close. And that is going to cost you games. Because at a certain point in time, like you can be the most game sense oriented person in the world, but if you can't hit full stickies on somebody that doesn't even know that you're there, you're not going to win games. Like even here, right? Like it's not going to kill the Reaper, but it's going to force his Wraith. Yeah. He does not know you're there. He's moving in a straight line. You led behind him, then you overflicked and over-coordinated. And you didn't even hit a single sticky, right? This guy actually might live, right? So go ahead.
That's why I also mentioned my mechanics are a part of a problem, but I don't usually hate too much because I always think like they can only be mechanics, right? I think
no
mechanics just come from playing. So I just try to focus on everything else.
Right. The reason that we bring up mechanics here is because if this mechanics here are a problem, there's two things to blame. The play structure that you're putting yourself in or your confidence, your mentality, right? Confidence mentality we talked a little about, all right. But also the play structure we talked about too, where you are just kind of recently now an Echo player, right? You've been more of a flex player up to this point, and we see that, right? You don't really look super mechanically competent. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that are going wrong too. I think reading the enemy composition, copying the hog, some decisions about how you're flying. But see, even the things like when you're going for the dive bomb and then, standing on the floor with flight and then getting slept, to be honest with you, I throw that in the mechanics category as well. Because that's not so much hitting shots, but it's like hero comfort. You know what I'm saying? It's like using your CDs properly, right? It just shows like you don't have enough experience playing the character in a 1v1 scenario. And the reason why I think that's really important for DPS is that's a lot of what you do, right? Is you need to be comfortable. If I'm playing Echo, how do I beat a Reaper in a 1v1?
Yeah, I usually when I fail to win a 1v1, I usually think about it like, well, how could I started this differently? Like
correct. Was my positioning good, right? Did I use my CDs in the proper order, right?
Yeah, I never think about the mechanics because there's no point.
Right.
Oh, I could have made my shot. Well, sure. But...
Right, exactly. So when we talk about mechanics, let's talk about it in two ways. You need to practice hitting your shots, right? Which we'll talk about the deathmatch and all that kind of stuff. But you also have to evaluate like how could I have used my CDs? Like this right here, for example.
I think I go in because I have ultimate here, so I just went full head on.
Sure, but you know what? It's still a mistake because You have your ultimate. You're committing, right?
Yeah.
So, given the status of your CDs, how should you take this engagement?
Um, I think I should just uh, maybe I could just sticky first before gliding,
Sure.
and then
So
see.
that's the optimal one, right? If you can wait 1 second, don't shoot him at all, then surprise him with full stickies because he's not looking at you, right?
Yeah, but I am thinking here I'm way too far to hit a decent amount of stickies, and against a soldier, I either hit all the stickies or I need to be fast, right?
Okay. So then let's ignore the stickies for a second, because especially because you don't have them right now. What should you do?
Yeah. Um, against the soldier?
Right now, what should you do?
Well, seeing the kill feed, I probably should just try to get out, probably.
Well, maybe. I look at this here and I'm like, if you're going to committing all in with your ultimate here, which obviously I'm not sure this fight's winnable, but like, let's just say it is.
Mhm.
This is a mistake right now. You're out of cover, and he's better at doing what you're doing right now. You're not utilizing your mobility at all. So if you're going to all in this guy, what should you do?
Um, I either stay here, try hit a shot and get ultimate, and stay right behind the cover. But
Yep.
here I wanted to fly to get better stickies, and then like fly back into the little room to the right, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I look at this here and I'm like, you have to fly right now. You have to. You have to.
Mhm.
And you have to fly up, really. Because otherwise, it's going to be too easy for him to track you. So you need to shift either, like you said, to cover or sit here and poke, or you need to fly directly over his head. Shoot, 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 sticky beam. He's dead. But if you stay here, like the longer you stay in this range right here, like even this right here, equally skilled soldier versus equally skilled echo, you lose 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, so I was too slow, basically.
And then,
I
yeah,
also flew right into his face, right?
right, exactly. So this is where like a soldier helixes the ground, you're dead instantly. Right? So obviously you didn't die, but neither did he, and he should have died because he didn't see you. That I'm going to call that mechanics too. Not mechanics in terms of hitting your shots, okay? But let's dual knowledge,
Okay.
right? Knowing how to take a 1v1, playing to your character's strengths, how you're using your cooldowns. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here I'm just trying to get my ultimate to salvage the tank.
Yeah.
I get out of
I mean, it was fine. you needed to right click here some though. Keep yourself alive because you had your coal. You just didn't get you didn't allow yourself to live. And then even here, right? Like this is truly just aim mechanics. One stick, right? That hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. All right, let's keep going. There you go. Nicely done. That was good. Unfortunate.
Yeah, here I go in because like we committed an ultimate.
Yeah. Weird body. Okay, let's keep going. Like the angle here, it's good. Nice stickies, very precise. Good little bit of flight here. You know, at times your flight control is really good. Like it seems that you're good at using roosts and using high grounds and off angles and stuff like that. But a lot of these go ahead.
The problem is multitasking, right? If I'm thinking about just one thing, I can do it decently. But if I'm shooting, if I'm looking for a target or other stuff, I tend to forget how to do all the stuff. You know.
Right. There's two solutions to that: sleep and practice.
Yeah.
Sleep and practice. Sleep so you got more bandwidth, right?
The breaks.
And the breaks, exactly. And then practice is just so that you don't have to spend as much bandwidth on normal tasks because you've practiced them so many times. Like right now, if I'm working with a Grandmaster Echo player, they're not thinking about their stickies. They're not thinking about their beam and they're not thinking about their aim because they know they're going to hit all their shots, right? So
Yeah.
what they are thinking about is probably when are they going to shift and where. Maybe they're going to shift backwards. Maybe they're going to shift towards their team, right? But for you, I guarantee you're thinking about a little bit of everything here, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it from how you're taking the duel, it wasn't bad. You snuck up on them. You timed it well. You open with a shot into a sticky, and then you beamed them, right? And in theory, you should not have even needed to use your flight, right? At least until the enemy team pushed you. So what was the problem? Well, you just missed your stickies, right? I mean, that's it. That's literally just it, you know? So it's like, you know, you took the 1v1 properly. So nice job. You just missed all your shots. So that's okay. Holy mackerel. That's good. Huge. Huge. Again, huge. I mean, this is crazy pressure here.
Here I see the soldier.
Okay, so this is again going to be double mechanics, right? How do you take the 1v1? How do you use, how do you hit your shots? So right now, what did you do?
I fly up and use stickies. Right?
Stickies, yeah. And then worst case scenario, you copy.
Yeah.
So again, how you use your CDs, perfect. But you miss every single sticky. The funny thing is you make up for it. Whatever that was. But 1, 2, 3, beam. And pretty decent tracking too. So your mechanics kicked in there a little bit. Nice, seriously though, nice job. Nice job. I freaking hate the hog copy. I swear I'm gonna lose my brain. Especially with your coming up off of stickies here, you know, like you're coming up on your echo stickies here. The fat finger again. Oh no, the keybind. That's okay. Maybe. Oh no. Okay, maybe the hog copy is the play. Maybe you're just the greatest hog.
Yeah,
Okay.
in that situation though, like seriously, what do I copy, right?
I go Moira, 100%.
Moira.
Yeah, Moira. First off, I would stay Echo for a little bit longer, but either Ana or Moira, yeah, 100%.
I think I immediately go for the copy here because I was low.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but if you're already low, like you're going into a fight, you need to be going into the fight looking for who do I copy, right? Because you know that you're like, all right, well, I don't want to copy this hog again because I know how that goes. Now, obviously, it works out, but go ahead.
Yeah, in this comp, against this comp, I actually think about it usually what to copy. I can copy soldier usually.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But I never think about Moira as a good copy because like I actually don't play Moira, so
yeah. Moira's just impossible to kill if you play it well. That's the thing. So it's like you can pretty much like you go into that fight and you're gonna live. Like you're gonna live and you're gonna be an annoying, and you're gonna build coal. Moira's not like the Moira's like a Moira. I say Moira is a low risk, low reward copy, basically.
Yeah, because my thought process is that with the changes to copy since Echo came out, like I basically almost never get an ultimate off with the copy. So I just say, well, if I copy more, I probably don't get coalescence.
Right, but I think she's one of the characters where you can, because you can guarantee a full damage orb, right? You can also guarantee if you play it reasonably well. Unlike a character like Ana, you can't really guarantee your survivability on Ana, but Moira you can. Moira you will get the full 15 seconds, which means that you're going to be able to do all sorts of rat stuff. Moira is also like pretty like greedy, selfish snake, plays for backline. So if you go in really aggressively and then you copy Moira, well then you're going to stay playing aggressively on the backline, distracting, harassing. You're going to be a backline DPS Moira basically. But yeah, it's not like Moira's the copy yet. It's just I think given the circumstances that we've been seeing, it's made the most sense with what we've seen. It's not a copy that you're going to be like, go out of your way to copy Moira. But I would rather a Moira than a Hog a lot of times. Because Hog is like, obviously there's slightly higher reward, but he dies just so fast. Moira, there's so much higher chance of you just living so much longer. I like what we're doing. I don't know if you were paying attention to the Bastion swap, but this is really good, right?
Yeah, I think I knew it. It just here I just get like outplayed by the damage reduction, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you get outplayed by the damage reduction, and also, check this out. Minor thing, but here
You
you
go out
could,
of cover.
yeah,
Yeah.
you go out of cover. You also miss a sticky. You hit a shot in a wall, you miss a shot, and you're not hitting headshots either. You're aiming at his hips, right?
Yeah.
Your try shot's huge, and so is he. You should be aiming for his chest, right? Bullets will hit his head. And this is one of the things where it's like, if you are even just a tiny bit faster, I mean, look at how low he was, right? I mean, talking
Yeah.
one more bullet or one more sticky, basically, and he dies. So the play, the angle, the timing, all good. He needed to die. He should have died. Basically, just a lost fight. Yeah, I mean, just gonna go for a kill. It's smart. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, good, good, good.
I think I'm a bit undecided here because I know the soldier was on this side, but I
Yeah.
don't know if the Orisa's going in, and I don't have I don't have consistent pocket. I noticed, so I don't know I didn't know what to do, what angle to take.
This is a really tricky point too, because it's very open, So it can feel very tricky about like, where do I approach? I think you could go with your Orisa here, shoot poke from here. You could wrap all the way around behind. You could stay with your team and shoot the tank from here. You could double back around this way and flank this way. I don't really think it matters. I just think what you just need to make a decision, because this is fine. This is fine. Go. Oh, it's too late
I
now.
think I just go sneaky here.
Yeah, I mean, your team died almost instantly. I don't even know what happened to your Ana. So she goes on a flank, she hits a nade, and then she dies. Okay. But yeah, your team died pretty quickly. Okay, so this is fine. What is going on? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Nice. Oh, my gosh, you got scammed.
I got deleted. I
It's
didn't
actually
even have
really well
time.
done mechanically, right? Check this out. You go for the free headshot first, animation cancel into the stickies, which, you miss a few, but that's okay. To be fair, he did move kind of abruptly. That is one downside of opening with a shot first, is it does give him a 0.01 second time to react, right? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So just keep that in mind. It's not a bad thing, just keep that in mind. And then here, you just probably needed to copy faster, that's all.
Yeah. I just couldn't react at all.
Yeah, because he smoked you with a nade.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, come play with me. Bam. But yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean, it was a good try. Somebody had to try. Okay, so let's look at the other game. We got time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, at least look at a few fights at least.
So the code is I shared it.
Got it.
Discord.
Okay. So mostly we've talked about the types of mechanics, right? We talked about your aim with your stickies. And we've talked about how you approach 1v1s, like how you're using your CDs, specifically how you're using your flight, your stickies, and all that kind of stuff, and how
Yeah.
you need more practice in fighting versus X. We talked a little bit about copy targets, right? And then we also talked a little bit about cover usage and a little bit about looking at the enemy composition and thinking, where do I play, right? Any questions so far?
Well, I don't have much questions rather than remarks that I usually actually do those things, right? But I think I'm just so slow at doing them. Like I do check the composition, but I usually check them after I die, And
Right.
I approach. I know how to like in theory I know how to approach 1v1, but the execution is where you saw that, and
Yeah.
it's I hate to say it, but it's a lot of mechanics, right?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the key thing is it's like you might already do those things, but you don't do them with enough intensity and with enough consistency to like really make any reasonable, meaningful change.
yeah,
Right. And I think the way to address that is really we need to go back to what we talked about before even the reveal. Those breaks, right? Your sleep.
yeah.
And also just your confidence, right? Like your ability to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to go in and I'm really going to practice thinking about each 1v1 I take, right? Or I'm going to practice my cover usage. And like you just have to, because one of the problems with a lack of confidence is it's a distraction, is what it is, right? So if
Yeah.
you're like, I'm not confident in my mechanics and other, you're thinking about that, but you don't have time to think about that right
Yeah,
now.
it fills your head.
Right. You need to be thinking about your cover usage. I mean, like you could even go into a game and be like, I'm not going to worry about my mechanics or like my 1v1s. I'm just going to worry about like, I'm going to be perfect with my cover usage the whole game. But then if you lose a 1v1 and you're like, oh no, Spilo said I should be using my flight more, right?
Yeah,
Not,
right.
you know, shut up, idiot. Like you need to be thinking about your cover usage, right? It's like the old school Spilo reviews should be in your head, right? Shut up, moron. Like, like you need to like keep yourself focused on these things. And again, that's where it goes back to those breaks, right?
Mm.
Because to me, it's like trying to run a sprint for an hour, right? You can't. You got to take breaks. You got to take breaks, right? You have to take breaks. Because like to me, I think in a lot of ways, Overwatch 2 is like a marathon and a sprint. In some ways, it's like a marathon because it's not something that you could just like snap your fingers and I'm Grandmaster. It's a long, long journey, but it's a long journey of multiple sprints, right? And if you're not giving yourself time to like take rests and breaks and fully focus and go as hard as you can for 10 seconds and go as hard as you can for 10 seconds, like think about every team fight as like 15 seconds. Can I be fully focused for 15 seconds? Right? That's the challenge, I guess.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
But
And I actually, that's the problem I think with all these unranked to GM things. Like I watched the whole thing of Awkward, right? I
yeah,
playing Echo. Like he does all the thing. I try to copy him, but the thing is, like, it's probably also his experience, very likely, but it's also like he never takes breaks, right? He goes game after game after game,
yeah,
and that's because it's natural to him, right?
yes, yeah, very
And
natural.
I see that and I say, wait, I'm trying to do the same things, but why isn't it working, right?
Right.
But and I realized that I actually have to do it differently because like I'm not awkward.
Right. And also, Awkward has so many skill sets that you don't have, like just immediately. Like you talked about earlier, where it's like, um, I just, I have so many things. It's so hard to think about all these things at once. Awkward knows how to play versus a Widow as an Echo,
Hmm.
right? He might not have many hours on Echo. He might never have played the character at all, but he's played the game for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours professionally with full focus and scrims. Like everybody knows how that matchup's at that level, right? So for him, he even has good mechanical background, even if the mechanics aren't exactly the same. For him, it's just like, oh, I got to actually do what I know, right? Okay, that's fine, right? Now, Awkward's also somebody that's kind of been, you look at Awkward and Plat and Diamond. Do you think that guy is like stressed or upset or focused or grinding, or do you think that game is
No,
very no,
absolutely
no,
not.
right? It's a cakewalk, right? So if you put Awkward into like a lobby where he was actually like really sweating, really trying, which the average rank player is going to be, right? There's going to be,
Yeah,
he's going to need some breaks. He would benefit from
yeah,
breaks, right?
yeah.
So,
If for that, I watched Sam just raging at his teammates. So
right, right. So, and even in a way like that, that could be a way to maintain. Like, I noticed that, like, whenever I'm playing on stream for fun, right? Like, which I do occasionally, I'll be like, if I'm like raging and screaming and like, I actually play better because it like wakes me up. It keeps me alert. I almost like narrate myself, right? So it's like it's joking, right? Like I'm not actually like flaming my
yeah, yeah.
teammates, right? But it's like it forces me to be like in the moment, focus, right? Instead of just kind of like playing. I
Mhm.
remember there was one point when I was on the Sombra journey, right, to like Masters or whatever, and I told my chat, I was like, "This is going to be the best. I'm going to play perfectly this game. Watch." And so everyone's like, oh no, you're not, no, you're not. So I had to go into that game and I was like, all right, I have to play perfectly. Like I really have to I actually have to try to play perfectly here. And obviously I did not play perfectly, but man, I really tried. And that was one of my better games. To me, it's like, that's kind of like what you have to be forcing yourself to do. It's like, you need to not put pressure on yourself, but you need to push yourself a little bit, like really push yourself. Like you need to be like, I need to be hitting these shots. I need to be thinking about this stuff. So whatever you are practicing in that moment, that it's not like I'm practicing this. No, you were really like full. When you were giving it that level of energy, that level of focus, you can't help but get better. Not
Yeah,
immediately,
but yeah,
but
I
you can't
guess
help.
it's mostly a matter of knowing like what to focus on, because on my own I can say each game, well, I could do that, I could do that, but I never get like a clear picture of something to follow game after game. Like in this case,
Yeah.
I have to just practice stickies. All right,
Yeah.
that's I'm gonna think only sticky, 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 sticky.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is it's like, it's sometimes practice is just really boring.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not sexy, and also because you won't always have a coach looking over your shoulder and telling you, okay, today practice this, or this game practice this, or
Yeah.
that game practice this, or hey, you're doing a good job, but just keep practice. Sometimes you're just going to have to learn to coach yourself at some point.
Hmm.
Like you're going to have to learn to know when you need to take a break, or know when you've made progress, or set yourself new goals and stuff like that. Like that takes a lot of self-awareness and takes a lot of practice, and is honestly really hard.
Hmm.
Honestly, really hard. I have not met a single person that I have coached that is not ranked up, that has done so without learning how to coach themselves better. I don't think you can rank up without coaching yourself.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind.
Mhm.
Okay, let's look at least a few more fights here. So let's just practice something right now. Look at their comp.
Yeah.
Anything important? How do you play? How do you position?
Uh,
I don't think there's like one answer here, but like, what are
Well,
some ideas?
for sure, just at the start, I think just try to see where the McCree, no, not the McCree, the Cassidy,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah. No, no, no,
the
that's fine.
the Cassidy is
Yeah,
constantly, and just basically ignore this area for if I can go for the cast.
sure. And I think that's the key thing. If you can go for the cast, you can. But right now, I don't
Yeah,
really
I
think
can't.
you
So
can.
yeah.
But you know what you can. But you can do. You can butcher the Zarya, right?
Hmm.
So this is actually fine. I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is probably the funniest picture I think I've ever seen. I mean,
That's
I do not know. He literally did not even see her at all.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in theory here, if your Zen doesn't just freaking die to being an idiot, do you see that what this Cassidy sees? Watch this. This is pretty funny. So first off, he doesn't see Zenyatta. Let's just pretend that he doesn't see Zenyatta, right?
Yeah.
What can he see from up here? You guys see what I'm saying?
And
There's not really much to see, right?
yeah.
Meanwhile, his Zarya just lost her entire shields. Like she's lost half her HP. So what's he going to have to do? Well, he's going to have to push up. What does that mean for you once he's pushed up?
I can fly like I
Still tricky, but
above him.
yeah, but there's opportunities now. So that's kind of what you want to look at. Like if you cannot reach their backline because they're too far away, just shoot the tank. Make that backline walk forward, then take an angle and kill. But yeah, this is fine.
I think my problem in this game is committing to a kill. Like I'm sure I'm gonna get the kill, but then Life Weaver comes up, right? I forget about Life Weaver, and the bubble comes in, and I'm out of position, and suddenly I die. Like
Right. So let's look at this fight here. Let's look at this 1v1 slowly. And I want you to coach yourself on should you have hit the shots, and how should you have taken the 1v1? What do you think?
okay, so here I think I c- I think the idea was okay. I could have flew because I wanted to avoid the two DPSs and fly right behind the big thing, like what's the
Yeah,
big
yeah, yeah,
building
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
but then I get like oh wait, he used platform, and like I was thinking, well, this is mine, this Life Weaver is mine, but then I forgot the platform, and It distracted me and I died.
Okay. Here's a question. When should you have used stickies?
When I was closer to him, probably.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if you should have even used stickies when you did. Watch this. Shoot from this corner here, right? Because Hanzo and Zen can't see you. So you spam. He's going to lunge, right? Which is going to heal him for 50 HP. Okay. So then what are you going to do? You're going to fly up and over. First off, vertically, right? You didn't get near high enough with your flight. Up and over. Then you're going to stickies. And now instead of hitting half of your stickies or less than half of your stickies, you're going to hit all of your stickies, right?
Mm.
Then you're going to beam. That guy's dead. In fact, you will probably force pedal before you even fly at him.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So for this one, it's actually maybe you should have waited in the stickies and just hit the shots instead.
Right.
Then use your stickies when you get closer so that you hit more of them. Then go for the beam. The guy dies. Now, would you still die here? Maybe, probably, but you at least get a kill out of it too, right?
Right.
Let's look at one more fight. So that might be an additional little detail to throw in there. It's like when should I actually use stickies? You know, do I want to do it immediately? Do I want to wait? Because to some extent, like because it's a projectile, even the best echo players in the world are going to miss stickies, right? That seemed reasonable. He didn't know you were there, so he's also far away, so he's open with stickies there. You're also not going for a dive yet. But if you know that you're going to dive, you also know that you don't have to rush your stickies because you are going to get close.
Mm.
Okay. I think I would have liked your initial idea here. First off, can we just admire that arrow? Do you see that arrow on your screen?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, all right. Not even close. This is it. I think.
Yeah, I think though didn't want to go here because then I was thinking, well, where do I fly then if I get pressured?
Backwards, quickly. You just go bam, fly backwards. Very high risk.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's a much better solution. Here's what I'm wondering. I think you can fly over this roof. I think. I think you can fly over this roof and hold an angle here. I'm not sure. That would have been a more conservative option. But yeah, either way. And then obviously here, I mean,
Stickies, right?
you know, they need to hit. Like, because this angle isn't even that bad. That guy's definitely dead because you missed almost all of your stickies and you still almost got him to half HP. So, I mean, there's just not a lot to say there, right? So, I guess we can just finish this out. Let's just see what happens. All right. Because they're snowballing out of control here. All right. You coach yourself here. You tell me. This is you want to hear something saucy? If you're not confident that you're going to hit all your stickies in this guy, you also don't have to rush because remember he's going to lunge, right? So what you do is you shoot, he lunges, then sticky, right?
Right, true.
And then as soon as you see pedal platform, you shift. I think you're ready for it there. But it's crazy to me that this guy is full HP right now. Like it is clinically insane. Right? That is strictly mechanics. That is also crazy. We're going to stop right there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Okay. So we've talked a lot about breaks. We've talked a lot about, let's actually take some notes here. Taking 1 to 2 minute, I almost said 12. Whoops. 1 to 2 minute breaks between every game. Get up from computer to mentally reset, refocus, keep an eye on sleep quality. A little more would be great. Remember to stay focused on the goal of the game, right? I think a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I have to practice. I remember even back when I used to coach, you might remember this, like I'd give you goals and you're supposed to work on them like once per like week or month or whatever, right? I've kind of moved away from that. I think it's okay to have something that you practice for a game, and then the next game you practice something else too.
Mhm.
Um, Whatever works better for you. And then for Echo, so mechanics, right?
Yeah.
1v1 matchups, more practice in deathmatch plus ranked, plus think about the 1v1s. Hit your stickies. Same as above. And I think for you, is it's like when we talk about deathmatch, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend reincorporating warm up back in, but making it really easy, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing like you're going to dread, just 5-10 minutes, right? And then after you've played, like, let's say your first set of games, you've played your 5, 6, 7 games, whatever, you take a break. I would consider coming back in and being like, if you feel a little tired and don't feel like playing a ton of ranked, I might consider just spending like 20, 30 minutes in deathmatch, putting in some music and just rolling.
I see. Right. Okay.
Because if you're tired, if you don't feel like you're going to go full out, deathmatch is still going to practice your mechanics. You're still going to be able to practice your 1v1s, but it's going to be a little bit less of a cognitive demand, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sure. True.
And see how that goes. I don't think there is any one way to incorporate deathmatch as a warm up or as an aim trainer. You are at a rank to where you don't have to use tryhard free for all. You can just use unranked deathmatch, which is really nice because tryhard free for all is better, but the games are not as common as they used to be. But yeah. Basically, you could just use it. Just try and see what works better for you. Experiment with it. Experiment with a longer warm up. Experiment with 5-minute warm up. Experiment with aim training afterwards. Aim training once a week, twice a week. Just experiment. See what you enjoy better. Sound good?
So, yeah, sure. And basically, then if I want to hit like masters, then I don't need any kind of game sense upgrade, or you don't think so?
Well, that's what we're going to keep talking about. We talked about a couple of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Copy, right?
Right.
Plan out, target, ahead. Well, okay. Honest question. Was the Suruvasa Roadhog spam just bad luck? Do you normally plan out your copies, or is that something that you can improve on?
Yeah. It's a lot of times it's actually bad. Like when I go in, I want to copy somebody very hard, and I like get the mercy behind them, But in
Mm,
these games, uh, I actually didn't know there was a better target like Mora. Like
sure,
I wanted to know, I wanted to copy a soldier, but he was dead. I already killed him before using my copy, so I had to copy
sure.
someone else.
I'm
And
going to restart stream really quick because I actually want to see
yeah,
what you do with
sure.
your copy this fight because you're about to use it. You might have to click on my face on the Discord stream to pull it up again.
Uh, you mean the code?
No, 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 no. So I restarted Discord stream.
Oh,
Click
so
on
I
my
don't.
head at the top, and then you'll see it again.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay. So I want to see what you do here because I have an idea here. Okay. Here's something you can work on with your copy usage. So you don't really have a clear target here, which is fine. There isn't like a really great copy target here. But if you're going to use your copy, this isn't where you want to be. There's a very careful balance between going in aggressive and using your copy as a second life, and then having your copy being in a really crappy position, right? You don't want to end up in the middle of the enemy team. And that's part of the reason why your first Roadhog copy was so bad, is because it was like literally in the middle of the enemy team. So here, obviously, ugly, right? But let's say that you wanted to go in aggressively here. Who says that you have to end in the middle of the open?
Right.
Why could you?
I had to go in the window, right? I know.
Right.
But
In an aggressive
again,
angle.
it's a matter of like I'm thinking too hard about something else, right? Because I know I should land there. It's not that something like, oh well, you're right. I know I should have gone there, but I'm not thinking about it in that moment.
And that's the thing. So we talked about what are the game sense things that you need to work on, not learn, but develop. This is one of them.
Yeah.
When
Right.
you go for a copy, where's my end result? Because the funny thing is you could have also flown here.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter if you're on top of the enemy, one of the enemy teams. Because if you copy this Cassidy or copy this in here, this Cassidy dies, and you're safe over here, and you could just poke and poke. I just don't want you middle of the open or in the middle of the enemy team. You could have gone up here, you could have gone here, could have gone here, over here, like actually where you were, but just needed to cover. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to see. So for you, is it's like I want you to try and when you have copy, go for an aggressive play, but try to finish, like get your copy in a location where there's cover on like the outside, if that makes sense. Like even like if you were to copy like a Diva or a Moira or what, you still wouldn't want to end up in the middle of the enemy team. Like you want to get on the outside. You want to be on like the border. So copy, try to think about executing the ult near cover, not. Because the problem is when you do it in the open is it's like it really is just you copy, you die instantly, and you go right back to Echo. Right. So it's like there's no chance of building an ultimate, no chance to do anything really. Okay. In terms of other game sense things. I guess just keep an eye on the cover usage. But beyond that, I think it was okay. I think your biggest issues were definitely like you just were not hitting your shots, you know. Right. And sometimes that's it's just not that deep, you know. We don't have to sit here and overthink it. I definitely think that obviously, you know, if you're in Diamond, not the only thing keeping you back is mechanics, but it's probably the most important thing. Right. Probably the most important thing. Okay. Any questions?
I'm not sure right now.
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah. If the enemy team plays like Malga, Soldier, actually Widow and Soldier or another hit scan, and they play Ana and they play I don't know support like BAP that like nullifies everything I try to do with just a button. Should just start thinking of swapping Echo, or I should just grind that.
Now, what do you mean nullify what you do with the press of a button?
Like at the immortality field, like if I die a support and the rest of my team is not pressuring the supports, which is my job basically.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I just go in. I mostly die because I don't get a kill because of the immortality field. I have to play super conservative, and I don't get anything done. So I usually think about swapping at that point, but I just want to. Well, you know, Awkward did it, so why can't I do it?
Yeah. Well, okay. I want you to think about a little bit about how we were talking about the copy, right? Where you go in for an aggressive play, but you do so with an idea to end towards some sort of cover or high ground or something like that, right? You even did this a little bit on Suravasa when you're like diving that Moira. Remember when you dove that Moira and you thought she was low, but she had a heal orb, and I was like, what are you doing? But you ended on like a roof, right? That's how you approach Lamp. Where it's like CD forcing simulator, right? So you know that your first cycle, like your first dive, is probably not going to get a kill, right? So don't, go in aggressively, but with not necessarily an escape route, but with some sort of safety.
Yeah, right. But I guess the question, actually rephrasing it, would be,
sure,
if I'm getting stomped, right? Should I just keep playing our character that's not working and try to make it work, or I mean, because I don't think it's not a problem that I lose, because that's not the issue. I think the problem is that I'm not learning anything, you know.
Are you totally mentally boomed in that circumstance? If the answer is yes, then yes, swap. If not, if you're still trying things, if it's failing over and over again, but you're trying different things, trying, then don't swap. If you're totally mentally boomed, you're like punching holes into your drywall, then that's not a learning situation. We don't want that to happen, but yeah. Because the thing is, like you might be learning nothing and just failing, but eventually it's going to work. You just need to be patient, right? But because like learning doesn't happen like slowly over time, like sometimes it happens in just chunks, right? Like you might hit yourself over and over and fail, and then it finally clicks, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, right? But obviously, if you're like freaking want to kill yourself because you you hate it, and you're like you're really getting mental, then yeah, maybe it's not the best learning opportunity.
Right. All right.
But anyway,
Great.
all right, mate.
All
Well,
right. Yeah, it's
if
been great.
if you have any questions, you message me anytime. All right.
All right. Sure.